for.
Oh,
Do you know what? How are you? Didn't know where to go.
oh, do you wanna? Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right, buddy. I'm all right. Here we are, another episode, dear listener. Hello, welcome to Don't Be a Hero podcast. It is I, Matt, and this is Forrest, and we are two wonderful English folks talking all things superhero. If you want to do us a little favour, go on and give us a little like, a little subscribe on the old YouTube. Give us a little review on this little podcast that you might be listening to now, whether it's on Spotify, whether it might be on Apple Podcasts, it might even be on a little Google Cast, a little Amazoni or some sorts, wherever you are. Just give us a little review. Let us know. You can also do that by also giving us a lovely little email at don'tbeaheropodcast@gmail.com. I'm good, Forrest. I'm good.
Good. I'm glad you're good. I have a vague feeling I know why you might be good. I think you're particularly perky right now, mate.
My friend, how long have we been doing this podcast?
Do you know what? Longer than I thought. Because I looked this up the other day. A long old time, mate.
Yep.
We've been doing this podcast.
Yep.
2022, mate.
Yeah.
We've been doing it since May 2022. We've been doing the podcast. And for that amount of time,
I've had dog shit Wi-Fi. Have I not?
It's not affected us too greatly in the actual podcast. Some podcasts have been affected.
Lately. Yeah.
But and actually, ironically, it was me in the early days, I think, actually.
It was,
kept having issues. But that was back at the flat. Nowadays, not so much of an issue. But anyway, by the by, after the podcast, once we finish the podcast, Matt's upload speeds are like literally we have to just sit here and admire each other's beauty whilst Matt's.
Or you'd leave and I'd just say leave it on.
Just go because it's going to take
later,
hours.
It's still uploading. Yeah.
Your internet's been piss poor, but some good news on that front today for you, man.
I have finally taken the plunge and I have updated my Wi-Fi and broadband connection to something that is of a fiber network, and it is delicious. It is infinitely 10 times, even you could probably say it's 20 times faster than I currently have. I'm not going to lie, dear listener, I had a very low connection, or still do currently, but in a few weeks' time, it's going to go from about 60 to about 900. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, you're saying 60, right? So for like most of the time, Matt's been getting 30 MB speeds, right? Which if you're quite clued in this like I am, you'll know that that's real dog. For 2025, that is dog shit. It essentially unlocks nothing for you, right? 30 MB. You can just about go on Google and ask it a question, and it will tell you reasonably all right. But 900, the difference you will feel, Matt. It will be like.
I'm giddy with excitement.
It's going to be insane.
It's a level up.
So,
this is what I mean, though. We are leveling up. This is, I mean, if I'm going to go on one, I'm going to go on run right now. You can feel it. We've had the rebrand. All right. We met up. We've finished up the MCU marathon. We're now doing loads more content. We've got bonus episodes on the regular. We're now also utilizing our YouTube, all of these TikToks, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, everything. We're doing it. And this is part of it as well. Because now I've got this. And you've got your wonderful fast broadband as well. You and I are going to get on the old gaming situation. We're going to be streaming. We're going to be gaming. It's going to be great because then you can interact with us. And it's just going to be...
Agreed. We have decided that we're going to do a new...
So excited. Sorry.
Jesus. Wept. Oh, my God. He is pumped. I mean, I would be pumped because if I'd been sitting on that Wi-Fi for as long as you have, fucking hell. But the one thing that we are hoping to do is that obviously we're not a gaming podcast, but we're going to bring back our monthly news roundups basically. And whilst we're doing our monthly news roundups, and we might even do a live stream,
we could do lives, like serious lives with good quality. Yeah,
good quality lives.
Because that's the thing. That was half of the issue. While playing games, that was half the issue, right? Because like we've never really gone on to like the live sector, let's say, of content creation because I simply don't have the internet connection to do so. But soon, in a few weeks' time, I will, and then you and I will be able to take the world by storm.
They are. We are investing in infrastructure, and not to be one of these guys, it's not free. And
it's not.
Neither is making this podcast, and you can help with that, listeners. If you like a bit of Don't Be a Hero, we do have a fine selection of merchandise available via our merch site, which can be found on our link tree, which can also be found on our social media. So do support the Don't Be a Hero venture and grab yourself a t-shirt, a bag, a hat. Anything you like. There's loads of stuff on there, and just help us out.
It would go a long way. The other thing, additionally to that as well, we're also on a train to 4,000 followers on Instagram. We're doing a little merch giveaway as well, and a potential, if you are a 4,000th follower, you'll be offered a place as a guest on the podcast for a week, and also some free merch coming your way as well. So hey, come on, let's do this. Let's do this together.
Incentives. Yeah, wild incentives.
Crazy.
Crazy. So, enough about our little preludes, because we're going to talk about something today which we have not talked about for a whole week. Because we've gone straight from Netflix's Daredevil to the brand new, I know you've been waiting for it, we're covering it starting today, Daredevil, Born Again, and today we'll be covering the first season, episodes 1 to 3. We'll see you after those titles.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are. We have... been through the marathon of 3 seasons worth of Netflix Daredevil to get to where we wanted to get to, Matt. I am fully caught up alongside yourself. I love Daredevil as much as you said you knew that I would, and I'm so excited to talk about these first 3 episodes.
Man.
Give me summary thoughts, Matt. Hit me up.
They've hit the ground running, that's for certain, and I think it is a very clear intended continuation to the previous seasons of the Netflix Daredevil, but then also with acknowledgement to the wider universe as well. Episode 1 packed an absolute serious punch. It's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it because it's also got a very different feel to it in certain aspects of how it's being shot, how the score is being handled, how we're seeing Matt Murdock's listening, powers being played into as well. But it all works because there is still a very clear IP around a Daredevil. And I feel like it's been kept to quite truthfully. So I'm enjoying it. It's not completely blowing my mind, but I am enjoying it. I am enjoying it for sure.
Yeah, agreed. I think I would probably concur with all of your thoughts there. I think there are some quite early on changes of direction, which then go kind of back on themselves, but I'll explain more about what I mean by that in a minute. Initially in this season, I thought maybe there's too many changes from what was a remarkable formula from season 3 of the Netflix season. But overall, really good. They've hit the ground running. We've got Daredevil back, definitely. I think that's enough summary, really. I just want to get to the nitty gritty of what happens. So episode 1, we see a much larger law firm, a new premises, much bigger, new staff.
Yeah,
they're taking their staff on a jolly in a pub. I'm like, fucking hell, we have expanded big time.
It's become a proper firm.
It has. Now, instantly from the bat, I'm going to say to you, Matt, we haven't got a time scale for this, have we? Right. So we know. So some of the events that have happened previously do get mentioned. Some, well, I mean, we're not going to know what some didn't get mentioned because it hasn't got mentioned, so it might get mentioned in the future. But some have been mentioned, but we don't get a time frame. We haven't, from my mind, we haven't got a time frame. We just know there is a period of time between what happened to Fisk and where we then come back to Fisk's story, which isn't straight away, to be fair. But so therefore, how much time has elapsed if we are to believe that the events of the Netflix season did happen?
Yeah.
And what was the time frame between the law firm being tiny whiny to a big ass law firm with lots of staff and clearly lots of cases in order to pay for those staff? We get that. Karen still interested in Matt, but they have a friend code.
Like a friendship code where they don't go beyond the friendship code. And let's be honest, if you've got a friendship code, they've definitely gone over that line a few times. The way that they were looking at each other, the way that they were flirting in that bar. Come on. Come on. Friends with benefits. I think that's what's the correct term. Yeah.
100%.
100%.
And then we get some quite weirdly, like it mentioned in passing before a massive thing happens, right? So we find out that Benny is being housed by Foggy, right?
Yes.
For his protection. So Foggy has housed someone for their protection, and it instantly followed by a really quite intense set of scenes that happen.
It happened so quickly, and oh my god, the way that they played all of this in the first 10 minutes was nothing short of cinematic. Now, I'm going to say that because I say that on purpose, because the aspect ratio was being played around with in a very stylistic way. I can't remember. I think it started off in a thinner cinematic aspect ratio, and then as the drama and the listening of Matt Murdock started playing through, it started getting wider and wider and wider. And then boom, we're in a TV world now. We're coming out, and it really put in everything into a new focus. Not only just in terms of, Daredevil being reintroduced into the MCU, getting a series back. Daredevil's had all these cameos in Hawkeye and Echo, and Hulk, She-Hulk. He's coming back into the world of Hell's Kitchen, back into the world of this, and I think it's just the way that kind of gets played through as well. Bloody Point Dexter, straight off the bat, like literally, it felt like it was the next week off of season 3, like literally, and that was great. Really great for us as well, for people that have just marathoned it. All had the connectors.
I have a bit of exciting news when it comes to Dex, Matt.
Oh
right?
My God, go on.
Did you have the subtitles on by any chance?
Oh, it said Bullseye, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I was like, there we go, Matty boy. After weeks and weeks of preparation, so he is now being referred to as Bullseye. And then we see like a hardcore scene. So Foggy gets shot. He's laying in the street. Daredevil goes running after Bullseye, chucks him off of a rooftop. We think he might have died, but Bullseye hasn't died. He disappears.
Oh my God, the way that and that, just that whole bit. We had just some really interesting fights as well when they were in the bar and they were fucking kicking the shit into each other, and it kind of panned out and we had the doors closed. It felt I think that moment must have been CGI'd or computer generated in some aspects, but like it was very stylistic. And then after that, they went up and they were throwing the dagger at each other, getting stabbed left, right, and center. That's a comic book reference as well, with all the stabby knives that Daredevil's got in him. The close quarter fighting was immediately put into place. Like, oh yeah, I know Daredevil's IP is having these corridor fight scenes where it's just just punch, and that's what that was. It went straight up the stairs, down the corridor, in one shot. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Here we are again. Then we got to the rooftop, and then there was a little bit of CGI that felt a little bit unfinished in terms of the fighting. Did you see what I saw?
agreed. I thought generally I had to say that the CGI wasn't fantastic in these set of scenes.
It was the bit where he was flying and running across.
The rooftops.
The rooftop bit.
Stairs and stuff. Yeah.
Mate, he's not Batman. And also he's not Spider-Man. We don't need to see that.
It was very ropey. And which for a first scene in the season, I'm like, come on.
There were good and bads within it, and I think the goods outweighed the bad. But then that bit at the rooftop was great.
Any bad, right?
No, I agree.
First scene on the budget that Daredevil's got. This is Disney.
This is Marvel. This is Disney.
It should not have. There is no reason to have bad, shoddy CGI. You've got the budget, and if you don't have the budget,
they've still got bloody Clive in the VFX. Bloody Clive, who works in the VFX, who's been working there since Black Widow. He's the one who did all the fucking CGI in Black Widow, and we all know how that went. And also, he's the one that did the whole kind of, the arm in Secret Invasion. We've got,
sack Clive,
bloody Clive. I don't know how he's still working.
Clive. Yeah, it's
and here he is, shoving this stuff in Born Again. It's like, Clive, mate, come on. You've been there for 5 years. Come on, you've got more tricks up your sleeve, son. Come on.
We've kept you on for a reason. Sort yourself out.
Look, I know you're the son. I know you're the son of Bob Iger. All right, Clive Iger. All right, but you've got to listen. I know it's a bit of nepotism here, but you've got to learn, Clive.
And this is the problem with nepotism. It never gets you anywhere. All right? Your siblings are never quite as good as an external member.
And this is why
staff.
Mickey and Minnie don't have any children.
Exactly that. That's it. You've hit the nail on the head there, mate. That's that here.
You don't want a little mini Clive mouse working in the VFX for the MCU Marvel.
No.
Because nepotism is a bad thing. I don't know where we're going.
Just allowing this to spiral. I've got it. No, shoddy CGI, which kind of pissed me off. I wasn't 100% taken back by the kind of comic booky style. It kind of felt quite, again, because we've just come off the back of watching 3 Netflix seasons, it felt quite jarringly different to what we'd had before. And I think because I was so expecting, after numerous rewrites that we know about for this program, for Daredevil Born Again, I was expecting it to be far more in keeping with what we were used to, and this was very this is a lot of close-ups, a lot of odd camera angles, very quick scenes. Like not a lot of dialogue happened at all in this first 10 minutes. It's like oh, Foggy says one thing on the phone, and then we're here. Like I do quite like the new hearing elements that we get for Daredevil.
Great.
We get a little close up of Foggy coming. That's quite cool. So there's nice new stuff out in there. I just think maybe it was a bit too full on initially. It scales itself back over the duration of this episode, and certainly follow up some.
This
more
is the thing. I mean, we haven't seen him don Daredevil since then for obvious reasons. But I'm interested to know when he does put the suit back on. Do we go back into this weird stylistic choice? Or whether that was just an episode 1 thing.
Interesting choice. I'm not against it. I think when you've set yourself up with it's had 3 seasons, and we were told specifically that they've now changed it so that this is now more in keeping with where they used to be. So I thought it was quite jarring and quite against that to have that kind of style approach, and I think there is a place for that, whether this season and this program and this superhero was the right place for that, I don't know, but we'll see the next time he dons a suit. Anyway, then we go 1 year later, so then we flash forward in time, and you know the most exciting thing, Nick Cave, Into My Arms. Great piece of music. You're nodding at me in a way where you're not fully knowledgeable about that song.
Is that the song that was played?
Yeah, he's looking out the window.
Sing a little bit for you. What was the song?
I'm not singing that, Matt. That's a really cheap way to.
Come on, just remind me. Just sing a little bit.
No. What I'll do is I'll play the original.
Hum the tune for me. Just hum the tune. Sorry.
Which is actually.
Oh, that's quite nice, actually. Yeah, no, great.
It sounds quite nice. Here we go. Probably going to get told off for this.
5 seconds. 5 seconds. Yeah, great. Yeah, no, I know it well. Yeah. Good song. Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite songs. I think it's a gorgeous piece of music. Anyway, so Nick Cave, that got me excited. A year later, and we see a very, very sad but thoughtful Matt.
Pensive,
Matt. Love that.
Melancholy would be the word.
Oh, lovely.
Melancholy.
But then straight away, Vanessa. Who
Vanessa
is quite powerful. She's got leaders.
So this is what you were saying to me last week. So last week I went, I'm really interested to see how Vanessa plays into the next season, the new season, whether she's like taking the reins, and you kind of went, well, you have to wait and see. And I think this was what you were talking about, right?
It was what I was talking about, Matthew.
Yeah.
It was.
She looked great, powerful. She was loving life, clearly. Like she's been taking the reins of the old criminal ring, let's say, and just leading the charge up until the moment when Fisk returns from when he turned his back on her. Fuck yeah.
Nice. That was
a sentence.
So Fisk was broken, and has
like
put
my brain
back together, and he arrives. So it kind of made me think if they kind of retconned Fisk's prison arc again.
So I'm confused. I'm confused here. So I don't really, other than the fact that we know that Fisk was in Hawkeye, in Echo. We've got those story arcs within it as well. We still need to do Echo, actually, so we need to jump back a little bit and do that at some point.
Yes, we do, actually.
The other thing is that I don't know what that time scale is against what this is, and then also why he left and what the reasons were. And it just... So I asked myself the question, was Wilson Fisk blipped? I know the answer, but I'm just asking you. Because I've just looked it up.
Oh, you just looked it up.
Do you think he was blipped?
No.
He wasn't, no. So Fisk survived Thanos' snap and secured his release from prison during the aftermath of Endgame.
Right.
But again, don't know. I haven't seen that. Haven't seen an explanation on that. He then assumed command of the tracksuit mafia, having used Ronin to massacre their leadership, including William Lopez. So there will be, because we know that the guy in Hawkeye, Kate Bishop's mum's ex-partner, is going to turn up in an episode later on, because that was already cast, that was already announced. Okay. I don't know what the situation is there. So there's got to be some sort of Hawkeye roundabout route coming back to kind of explain a little bit of what's going on with Wilson Fisk. But yeah, like I think that kind of timeline is a bit muddy at the moment between the season 3 and now.
Yeah, exactly. And they did say, I did certainly see a quote that said that some of the things from the original 3 seasons will be true and will be featured, and then other things haven't happened in this version of what we're seeing. So whether he because it's quite hard to explain how Fisk would have left prison, because at the end of season 3 he wouldn't have ever left prison, right? No. There's no way he would have got back to the power that he got. Even Wilson Fisk wouldn't have made his way back from the end of season 3, right?
Yeah.
So they do need to kind of retcon a certain amount of it, I would have thought, because it just wouldn't make any. So I imagine what I think they will do, and again, like, there's no confirmation of this. I wonder if this has happened on the basis that season 3's events for Fisk don't take place. So I hate that. Well, I wouldn't, because it would make sense. So if we go via the first time he went in prison, he could have easily got to the power that he got, right? Well, we saw it happen, right? So it might just be that they retcon his second visit to prison. So maybe the Nadim arc hasn't happened in this version. Maybe.
Oh no! See, I really hope that all of the events that happened in the Netflix Daredevil is linear to what we're seeing in Born Again.
I don't think it can be, though, because he wouldn't be out. He just wouldn't have got out. Or if he did get out, he certainly wouldn't be hovering around in New York. That's for sure. Don't you think?
I'm just about to look it up.
All right. It's tippity typing.
Tippity typing away. Doesn't anything. It is so. Fuck. I think they've covered all bases here. So they've basically said it is a revival and continuation of Daredevil, and I would argue a revival and continuation are two separate things.
Which is what I mean.
This is what you mean. Yeah.
I think they have used certain plots from the first 3 seasons and carried them on, and then other plots I think they'll discard or pretend never happened.
So
that's the only way you can that's the only way you can have a revival of something, right? Essentially it's. Well, a revival, I suppose, is just a bit re-beginning, but it's a reset as well. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm on Screen Rant, okay, and Screen Rant have put together a little article about the Netflix, the Born Again changes from the Netflix series. So I'm just going to quick run down the 10. So at number 10 is Born Again uses far more CGI. We know that. We've just spoken about that. Number 9,
Agreed.
Daredevil is much more of an acrobat than in the Netflix version. 8, Foggy isn't in the picture. That's brutal. 7, Karen Page is hardly there.
Agreed.
Also brutal. Number 6, Matt doesn't go to confessional anymore. Of course, Priest is dead.
Yep.
5, the pacing is much faster. I think that's fair. That's a fair comment.
That's kind of what I was alluding to, yeah, with that first few scenes, yeah.
Number 4, Daredevil got a new look. Okay, these are not big differences. These are like obvious ones. 3, the intro is different. Yes, the intro is different.
Sake.
Fucking.
Oh my God. But
But you know, actually,
absolute dog shit. All the characters have aged by 10 years. Yeah. That would have happened. Yeah. Different director. Oh, okay. Yeah. Released straight to Disney Plus. Oh, thank you.
No, yeah.
Got that, yeah. Fucking hell. Websites. Some websites, mate, they've got a lot of answering to.
Mate, it's absolute bullshit. Clickbait.
Stop making
absolute
articles
nonsense.
for the fucking sake of it. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Number 2, Daredevil has finally attempted to break his no killing rule. Yeah,
Right.
And then number 1,
okay.
Bullseye is Daredevil's new arch nemesis. That is not fucking news. That is not.
Also not true. Not true.
No.
Right? Because Dex does not appear in any subsequent episode. He probably will come back, and I think he does come back, but it's certainly not the main thing. Anyway,
It's so funny.
That's a load of joke. But so Karen and Matt are separate again. Now we're on this because they do not appear in episodes 2 and 3. Karen and Matt.
I don't.
Karen and Foggy even. Right. I'm gonna say I don't think Foggy's dead.
Mate, what the fuck were you chatting about? Of course he is.
He's not. I don't think he's dead. There are
Come on,
rumors.
tell me why.
There's a fact.
Tell me why.
Ain't saying that a Fog is dead.
Tell me why.
I don't think he could possibly be dead.
Tell me why.
Anyway, so 2 things. One, So the actress who plays Karen has been seen on set for season 2. Now, Karen coming back without Foggy, I find not.
Well, Foggy is dead, Forrest.
He is not
dead.
The
man is
He's
dead.
Not dead. He is not dead. He's talking.
How is he not dead?
Right. He's talking that he's protecting Benny, right? There is a protection case going on, right, which we don't know anything about.
We
know nothing on that storyline whatsoever, right? No. So why would we learn about a storyline like that unless there was a reason for us to know about it? Because he dies by Dex, who is completely irrelevant to that plot. We don't find out anything about that plot, and we don't go back to his house at any point in that first episode. I think this is part of a wider plot. He is him and Karen. I genuinely, Matt. I don't think Matt knows about it. I think that's fine, and that right. Makes sense, right? They wouldn't. I think Karen and Foggy have made a plot to lie about Foggy's disappearance. That will then create a I can't think of the word, but it's a very similar event to what happens in season 3, where Matt disappears and they think he's dead, right? But this would be an actual plot where they've designed for Foggy to disappear. It happens way too quick in this season. We don't see any we don't even establish Foggy and Karen, and for a revival, which most people, right? So this whole series is getting new people into Daredevil, and you therefore can't assume that new people know who the hell Karen and Foggy are, right? So I think there are so many reasons as to why Foggy can absolutely come back. We don't see him dead for long enough, for sure. We know that there are antics afoot with the NYPD/FBI if they're going to use those plots from previous seasons, which so far has all been a bit quiet. Fisk is doing everything by the book, supposedly, clearly not doing things by the book. So therefore, where does the NYPD come into this? We haven't seen Brett yet. Is Brett coming back at some point? I think there's a lot more to this.
Do you know what? At the moment you've explained yourself so flippin' eloquently there, my dear Forrest. I might just add a little theory for you as well. No, so when you were saying that, okay, I went, do you know what? I've been watching these first 3 episodes and I've gone, do you know what? Where the fuck is Elektra? And this might be a really good tie-in to reintroduce Elektra because of somebody that has resurrected from the dead. She has literally done that. What if they took Foggy's body and or it went to the powers that be that Elektra is with, and Foggy's taken the sarcophagus. I can't say it properly. The tomb that Elektra was in. What if she's used the qualities of reincarnation with all the Nobu stuff, all season 1 and season 2 situation?
Yeah.
And then that ties all of that back into Born Again with Foggy coming back to life. And reintroduces Elektra for season 2.
Perhaps.
But I think that's a fucking far shot, and I still think he's dead.
I don't for one minute think that they would go on and on about Foggy. And what would really...
Beloved character.
Okay, my main question to you then... Why and where has Karen gone?
I don't know. Well, this is the thing. Without Foggy, there is no point in having a Karen.
But she's back for season 2.
Well,
we know that. We know she's back.
We do know that. We've seen shots. So, okay. All right, well, look, mate, look. I don't think you're right. I want to be wrong because I really enjoy Foggy, and I was really sad to see that happen in that moment. But again, when I text you saying this as well, when I watched the first episode, is that in all fairness, it needed to happen. I thought it was going to be Karen. In all fairness, I thought Karen was going to go because that was very much in the comics and it's very much part of the kind of the lore of Daredevil. But yeah. Foggy took it.
Or So we get introduced to Dex, who underwent surgery where he was very nearly close to death.
Yes.
And then he turned into Bullseye.
Yep.
Could Foggy have an enemy arc in the future?
I don't want him turn into a fucking vigilante.
No. Oh, no. I mean, like, he could
go
be
bad.
A proper villain.
No, mate, that's fucking stupid. No. When this isn't playing some sort of Gotham enemy DC story here. No, this is Daredevil. This is different. This is no.
Well, I've seen episode
He's dead.
6, so you're going to feel pretty stupid when he's back killing people.
I've just come off the phone for K-Dog himself.
Yeah, just fucking Kevin. You're going to feel pretty fucking stupid. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so episode 1 ends. Matt hears Fisk on TV. Fisk is mayor, or he's going to find out if he's going to be the mayor of New York. Fisk makes a promise to Vanessa to not kill Matt / Daredevil, because we get a scene between the two of them.
The conversation is interesting. I really liked the sit down by a diner, face to face with your old nemesis, and just talking and catching up and being like, look, this is what I'm intending, this is what you're intending. Let's not cross paths because we know that's a recipe for disaster. And again, I really love this humanized version of Wilson Fisk coming in. It is a different Wilson Fisk. It's not Kingpin. So that's the important thing to understand, is that we're not seeing Kingpin right now. He's gone back into kind of going, look, he's trying to do something and make something out of the city. And it's interesting because I think underneath it all, they're both the same person. This is why when you have good versus evil, the best stories between those that are being played out is if they have very similar character developments in a way, or similar journeys. They're both repressing a darker side of them. They're both equally repressing a darker side, and they're both trying to move forward. Matt's trying to move forward as a lawyer. Wilson Fisk trying to move forward as a political person. But then underneath it all, there's this real root of pain that's gonna once again, like a pressure cooker, just go and just at some point it's gonna explode. I love that scene. I think just the chemistry they both have as well. In terms of two actors knowing how to listen to each other on screen, brilliant. The political kind of once he gets announced as mayor, he does an announcement, doesn't he, about vigilantes, and he's still against it, still doesn't want to see any vigilantes. He also mentions Spider-Man in the episode. Fucking awesome.
And this is beginning of episode 2.
Yeah.
He mentions about a spider outfit. So there is I can't say too much because I'm referring to an episode that's outside of the 3 we're talking about, but there are a lot of Marvel MCU nods in this.
Are there? What, in the next episode?
In a future episode. In a future episode.
Okay.
There is a huge nod, which is quite exciting. So I'll tease that for you, mate.
No, I would have known by now because unfortunately our Instagram fucking ruins everything for us. If it was Tom Holland turning it up, I would have known by now.
Oh yeah, no, it's not that big, but it's a fun one. I was quite happy with it. Okay. Wong would be cool. Episode 2 is it's a family member of an Avenger. So you might already know about it. It has. I have definitely seen a post out there. Go find out. Episode 2, New York mentioned more than Hell's Kitchen, so we kind of move away. So Hell's Kitchen in the Netflix season, you only ever heard about Hell's Kitchen, didn't really hear about wider New York, whereas obviously now Fisk being mayor, we get a lot more mentions of New York. Vanessa is kind of not a big part of the promotion of him being a mayor, as she's not a hit with traditional voters. So we see the team around Fisk, and we get quite a cool team around Fisk. Feels quite like Succession So we've got an English bloke there who's a bit menacing.
Yeah.
We've got like the young. Can't remember who the young guy is in Succession. Who Tom always beats up as a go at.
I can't remember.
Well, but we got that kind of team up. We got exactly. There's a British guy that could be Tom, and then we got a young guy.
Yeah.
So it's great little team around him. And then trying to help a bystander voluntarily killed a policeman. Can't remember that bit. Matt represents a man who we saw was innocent, trying to help a bystander and involuntarily killed a
White
policeman.
Tiger. So this is the actor that plays White Tiger. So I'm just gonna. So I just need to check something. I spelled that completely wrong. White Tiger. It's a really cool introduction in terms of playing a role. It's a very famous. Very famous. I'd say it's like kind of like within your B list of MCU characters. Yeah. But Hector Alejo, isn't it? Who is a bystander who then actually unfortunately takes out NYPD cops. But the actor that plays him, I think he died recently, didn't he?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
Maybe.
He did die. So the actor Camar de los Reyes died in Christmas Eve a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which is really, really sad. Tragic from cancer. So I just want to give him a little shout out there because I thought it was a brilliant performance.
Really
great. Really good.
I like the scene where we see him go down to the underground. All of that kicks off. We also in the similar like within those scenes, we find out that BB. So one of the things we get during this season, we get the BB report.
Yes.
Which again, I'm not totally sold on. What's your thoughts on it? This whole BB report clips.
I quite liked it. I think it's about telling the stories from the people of New York, and from a wider standpoint, wouldn't it be great to see more BB report stuff going into Spider-Man? This is the thing: you cannot set the whole thing in New York without also acknowledging the Spider-Man, the presence of a Spider-Man. Because they're both sharing the same location, so it'd be really cool to sort of see this BB report play out. Because I think it opens up the wider thing. The other thing is that we had a similar thing like that in Spider-Man. It might have been Far From Home or No Way Home. One of those two, where it was similar shots and stuff about people just talking about. No, it was in the first one. It was in Homecoming when people were being asked about this kind of new Spider-Man that's turning up, and like, the way they're shooting it is great. But also, that's Ben's niece, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Ben's niece. Turning into journalist.
Isn't it?
Niece.
Or is it niece? Is it niece?
Niece,
oh,
yeah.
Niece. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I wonder, are we going to get Jonah Jameson as well? Jameson?
Potentially.
We're going to get Jonah in it? Because it feels like, that'd be a great time with Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, if we're looking at reporting and news, that kind of would make sense. Or we'll go down this avenue instead. This could be a nice, instead of Jonah, they're going to have these guys. I don't know.
Well, also Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop's in New York still.
She's roaming around somewhere.
It's like you've got all these opportunities, haven't you?
Yeah. So Daredevil strikes after the police try to kill him. Because we get quite a cool end to the episode where he goes in. He kind of protects. It's not White Tiger he's protecting, is it? It's one of his. It's like it's a witness basically.
Yeah.
It's the guy that was being actually done in by the police. Right. That White Tiger tries to save, and then we see Matt go to his flat or go to a lockup, and then the police go there and hit up Matt. What we haven't said also in episode 1 is that one of Matt's colleagues at the lawyer firm are aware that Matt is Daredevil. So that features a couple of times.
Found him on the roof. Yep.
Yeah, and then, so during all of this time, and I couldn't find the person, I can't find the actor or the character. Who's the character that's, oh my God, there is so much goes on in these episodes. Mm-hmm. So one of Matt's colleagues puts him on a date with a person, and I can't remember who that person, what her name is.
The therapist.
She's a therapist. Yes. Yeah. What is her name? Because I can't. It's not on Rotten Tomatoes. But she meets Matt. They get on well, and then the next thing we know, Heather. That's it. Thank you. So then Heather, coincidentally, then has Vanessa and Fisk in therapy. Right now, instantly, I thought, is this just purely Fisk's way to keep her tabs on Matt? Does he know that Matt and Heather are dating, and has therefore organised a way for them to have therapy? Your thoughts?
Oh, I quite like that, and I didn't think of that. Yeah. I mean, I really like the setup of the fact that they're going into this kind of like joint therapy situation. Again, really humanises them as characters, and clearly is a device being used from a storytelling standpoint for the audience to catch up with their history, because there's a lot we don't know about between these years, right? So I mean, so as a format, I kind of hope it's going to continue to a point where it gets a bit too hot and argumentative, that something goes a little bit awry. I really want Vanessa to be placed in this strength and position of power, because she is such, in an equal measure, an interesting person to Wilson Fisk, and the way that, because I still don't know, even since her introduction, what her game is.
Yeah.
How can you fall in love, I say in quotation marks, because I'm not even sure she is in love with him, with a guy like that so quickly, to then marry, to then take this position of power, to then kind of be like the little voice in his ear, and then for that to go and then to come back. And I'm just really keen to see what her genuine motive is and the reasoning is. And I think there might be some sort of reveal. There's got to be a payoff at some point with Vanessa. But who knows?
Vanessa. Yeah, absolutely. And then we are episode 3. I think let's crack on. Episode 3. Courtroom, watching the detectives lie. So we see, we go to court, where we're finding out whether White Tiger's going to go down for this. Matt here's another. These are kind of all like, I would say episode 3 is probably the weakest for me so far.
Yeah, it's a bit of an information filler.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, we're watching it, which is ironic because actually we want more trials. We want to see Matt as a lawyer, but at the same time, not for the sake of it.
I mean, I enjoy it. I like I said to you last week in the episodes with Daredevil, like just having court scenes with Matt Murdock doing this stuff is great. I think it's really, really interesting. You know, it's something we don't get that much in Marvel, and this is the thing. Is that you've got She-Hulk that did it in their way, but like we already had that in Daredevil, and it's done really well with Daredevil. So, interesting things that I've noticed in that is that in this one of the scenes is that Wilson Fisk said to Vanessa when they were having breakfast, he was like he wasn't going to do the physical stuff, and then you saw there was a quick shot of red knuckles on him. So I wonder whether that's him punching somebody or punching a wall. And then obviously, we didn't say about this in terms of the fight at the end of episode 2 with Daredevil. That fight was brilliant. The breaking of the arms, throwing the people down and stuff.
Yeah.
Prior to that as well, when he got pinned Matt against the wall, the NYPD guy had a tattoo on his wrist that very much resembled a Punisher, and we got signs of this going into episode 3 as well. So on the walls there was like a Punisher paint thing that said triggered. Sign. There's another neck tattoo in the court scene with a policeman with a Punisher tattoo. So this sigil now is being used as something going into like a little underground movement of sorts, incel in a way kind of culture. So it's really interesting to see kind of what that's going to become, because obviously that's got something to do with the way episode 3 finished as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was a bit worried when Torres, who was going to be the witness, on the way to the court, they do this whole like, are the police going to get to him first? And I was like, oh God, please!
Here we go again.
Like, I feel like we've had that 3 times in Daredevil, and I was a bit like, oh Christ. Luckily, it doesn't pay off. It doesn't play out. But I was still, even as a like, oh here we go. I was like, really. Really, I don't want that every time we have a court scene. Is the person that could help Matt not going to get to the court? I'm like, fuck off. It's such a, like, come on, you can write better than that to just have the same thing happening. But luckily we pivot away from it. Torres gets there, but it almost plays worse for it because Torres gets there and then at the final moment then goes, oh yeah, actually I'm just going to lie anyway. Okay. I think that's I in all honesty, Matt, I think that's why I don't really like the court scenes, because I'm just a bit like because it can only go one. It can normally only go a bad way for Matt. Otherwise, there's no you can't have a plot out of that. Oh, it's a huge success, which it turns out to be, but I don't know. It's one way or the other. It's so binary a court scene, so therefore I kind of like, that's the least interesting part for me, is because it's either they go to prison or they don't, in which case, like, don't spend that much time on it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Joker, the actual fun is in what happens in the court scene, right? It's quite fun because Joker was like being, really performative in that second movie. So it depends what we're following. But yeah, anyway. So Vanessa making lots of orders, I put here. You're punishing me for Adam. So there's a whole thing about Adam, and which you talked about earlier, basically. So Vanessa's been cheating, essentially, whilst Fisk was away or being broken. Yeah. Again, not a lot of detail on that. We're just getting like, don't really get it. But we'll find out more.
I think we'll get a flashback episode. In all fairness, by what they're paving, it just feels like everything that's happening, and they're saying we need to see. So yeah, maybe that's happening down the line.
Makes sense. Defending was on the phone going into station, but hasn't mentioned it. Something dodgy. Oh, defendant was on the. I know. So White Tiger. Right, in the scene when we see it play out, he goes into the underground. He's on the phone, isn't he, talking to someone before we then see like what unfolds. What happens?
Yeah,
and he doesn't mention being on the phone when he's in the court. He just says, I went down to the underground. So there's something clearly fishy about what White Tiger was up to anyway, and he alludes to that. So we get that. Matt then outs the defendant as White Tiger. Quite like that. He spends all the time going, we can't mention the fact he's a vigilante, and then he absolutely
literally had no more cards to play, and he was like, I've got to do this. But then also just that whole thing as well, like, because I think he must be obviously seeing a lot of himself in this person. So with that, comes a lot of conflict.
He is essentially found as not guilty.
Yep,
that's good. Which means clearly we're getting a larger plot from White Tiger down the line there, or it would do, because White Tiger's instantly shot and killed. So there we go. Happy days. If it's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's like this series already, right? It's
moving quick. It's
moving quick. There's clearly a big story that they really want to tell, and it's like I don't know. These 3 episodes, I don't know how I feel about that. When you've only got 9 episodes to do a plot, and you therefore have to run through it at a rate of knots, and then you're like, it feels like no one's really important, because essentially everyone you're meeting is just someone to meet in order to get to the bigger plot.
Yep.
And it's also kind of like, I don't know how many episodes have you watched in total of this season?
I'm halfway through episode 4.
Halfway through episode. So I've watched fucking hell. I've watched episode 5 as well, right? And it's feeling, it's very much like basically we're waiting for season 2, which falls in line with the fact that they're already filming it. And I don't know how I feel about a program that does that, because I'm like, well, in that case, it doesn't really feel like it feels like season 1's just like a teaser rather than an actual show.
Maybe they're learning from Loki. as well, because Loki season 2 was infinitely better than season 1. But that's still a good season. But maybe they're just focusing on kind of like longer storytelling with a certain entity of Marvel. But I mean, it's just really nice just to sort of see these characters now in updated and back. I'm interested to see how it goes forward. I think obviously Punisher's definitely going to be turning up at some point within the next couple of episodes. You've got all kinds of MCU extended references that are playing through. But it's like you say, everything's pacing. It's all about making sure it looks good and looks all right. And I don't know. I think I'd like to see older characters come back. I'd like to see Elektra come back. I'd like to see Maggie come back. I mean the fact that we've got this kind of like there was a shot in episode 3 where he looked over the church and overheard somebody doing a sermon. It was kind of like distancing himself from it. But that was a huge integral part of season 3 and Daredevil as a character. So it'd be really nice to see a redemption arc or kind of him circling back to that when he gets back onto the Daredevil situation. Yeah. He's holding on to this broken horn as well as a symbol, which is really interesting. We all know where it's going. So this is the thing. We as an audience know he's going to put on the suit at some point. He's going to decide to be Daredevil again. Okay. And this is the other thing is that it's not like we haven't had that. We literally had that in season 3. The whole season was him deciding not to be Daredevil again. So we've already had that. So I just don't want us to spend any more time than we already have with him being like, I can't do it anymore because I'm just a lawyer. And it's like, just put the fucking suit on, mate, and just hit some people, mate. Come on. Come on. Punch some people.
Punch him.
Punch him.
Punch him big time. Do it properly. Come on, Matthew. I agree. I agree with all of that. I'm interested to see how it unfolds. I am going to say mid-yawn there, just yawning my way through. I fucking hell, man.
Oh, he's a tired boy.
Oh, it's horrible. I would say, as someone who's watched a couple more episodes than what we're talking about, I am very excited for next week to talk about episode 5.
Oh.
Because episode 5 kind of what I've just ranted on about pace and all of that stuff. Episode 5 is very good for how it's paced.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I like just these little teasers that you throw in when you're ahead of things.
Yeah, just you look for
me and the dear listener.
Episode 5 accomplishes a hell of a lot, but in a nicely paced episode, and I think you'll agree.
Okay.
And it's got Batman Dark Knight vibes. I'm going to leave
Interesting. Okay.
I'm going to leave it there. But listeners who have watched episode 5 might know what I'm talking about.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of them are probably ahead of us. So, yeah. Cool. Okay, so we're doing episodes 4, 5, and 6 next week. That's the first 3 episodes of Born Again. It's great to be up to date, finally, for the first time this year, because we've been doing the Netflix series since the beginning of the year. But yeah, man, okay, cool. I mean, it's good. It's all set up very nicely. It's paced in a relatively well way. So omissions here and there, but let's be honest, this is Marvel. There is always going to be some gripes here and there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Make our job very boring otherwise.
Exactly. Right. Okay.
Cool.
Dear listener, thank you so much for watching and listening. Forrest, thank you so much for once again blessing us with your presence.
Likewise, Matthew. Thank you.
Shabba-dabba-doo.
I'll see you in 2.